Admiral Kethvar stared at the massive doors of the council chambers. His hands shook as he held the datapad containing his report. 3 months had passed since the disaster at Earth, but the memories still burned in his mind like fresh wounds. Behind him stood the captains of the 17 other ships that survived. Their faces showed the same haunted expression that Kethvar saw in his own reflection each morning. They were the only witnesses to what happened at the small blue planet called Earth. The doors opened with a deep rumble. The council chamber stretched before them like a vast canyon. Representatives from hundreds of species filled the curved rows of seats. At the center sat the 5 members of the High Council, the most powerful beings in the galaxy. Kethvar walked forward on unsteady legs. His boots echoed in the silence. Behind him, the other survivors followed. Every eye in the chamber watched them. The weight of their stares felt heavier than the gravity on his home world. "Admiral Kethvar," spoke High Counselor Thex Prime, his voice booming across the chamber. "You commanded the greatest fleet in galactic history. 9,700 ships, the pride of our military might. Where are they?" Kethvar stopped at the speaking platform. He looked up at the High Council members. Their faces showed no emotion, but he could sense their anger burning beneath the surface. "Gone," he said simply. His voice cracked on the single word. A wave of shocked murmurs swept through the chamber. Representatives leaned forward in their seats. Some stood up, pointing at the survivors and shouting questions in dozens of languages. "Silence," Thex Prime commanded. The chamber fell quiet again. "Explain yourself, Admiral." Kethvar activated his datapad. Holographic images appeared above his head, showing the battle recordings. The assembled representatives gasped as they watched their mighty warships burning in space around Earth. "The humans were ready for us," Kethvar began. "Our intelligence said they were primitive. We expected an easy conquest, but they fought like nothing we had ever seen." The hologram showed human fighters weaving between massive alien battleships. The small Earth vessels moved in impossible patterns, dodging energy blasts that should have vaporized them instantly. "They used our own technology against us," Kethvar continued. "Within hours of the battle starting, they had captured several of our ships. They studied our weapons and shields. Then they found ways to break them." A Zephyrian representative stood up. "How can primitives defeat our advanced technology?" "They are not primitive," Kethvar replied. "They are something else entirely. They adapt faster than any species I have ever encountered. They turned cargo ships into weapons. They modified our own plasma cannons to fire on us. They used their space stations as shields and then as battering rams." The hologram shifted to show human soldiers boarding a council cruiser. The representatives watched in horror as the humans moved through the ship like a disease, taking control of every system. "They did not just fight us," Kethvar said. "They learned from us. Every tactic we used, they found a counterattack. Every weapon we fired, they found a defense. By the end of the first day, they were flying our own ships better than we could." High Counselor Vex 7 leaned forward. "You had overwhelming numbers. How did you lose with such an advantage?" "Numbers mean nothing when the enemy can turn your own forces against you," Kethvar answered. "The humans captured our communication systems. They used our own tactical networks to coordinate attacks on us. They made our fleet fight itself." The chamber erupted in angry voices. Representatives shouted accusations at each other. Some blamed the intelligence services. Others demanded immediate action against Earth. "What of their leaders?" asked High Counselor Zon 8. "Did you identify their command structure? Did you identify their command structure?" Kethvar nodded grimly. "A female named Sarah Kim commanded their defense. We intercepted her communications. She spoke to her forces with calm confidence, even as thousands of ships attacked her world. Her orders were precise and creative. She treated our invasion like a puzzle to be solved. One commander defeated our entire fleet? Thex Prime's voice carried deadly, quiet anger. Not one commander, Kethvar corrected. Their entire species fought as one. Civilians became soldiers. Scientists became tacticians. Children provided intelligence on our ship movements. Every human on that planet contributed to our defeat. The hologram showed the final moments of the battle. Earth's defenses had grown stronger throughout the fight. Human ships darted between the remaining Council vessels, like hunting pack animals. The survivors limped away from Earth's system with human fighters following them to the edge of their territory. They let us go, Kethvar said quietly. When they could have destroyed us all, they let 18 ships escape. As a message. What message? Thex Prime demanded. That they are not afraid of us. That they want us to tell you what we saw. They want the galaxy to know that Earth cannot be conquered. The chamber fell silent again. The weight of Kethvar's words settled over the assembled representatives like a heavy blanket. High Counselor Rex 4 spoke for the first time. What do you recommend, Admiral? Kethvar looked up at the 5 most powerful beings in the galaxy. 3 months ago, he would have knelt before them without question. Now, after seeing what humans could do, he felt different. Do not attack Earth again, he said. Find another way to deal with them. War with the humans will destroy us all. The High Council members exchanged glances. Their expressions had changed from anger to something else. Something that looked almost like fear. That is not acceptable, Thex Prime declared. The Council's authority cannot be challenged. We will gather a larger fleet. We will return to Earth with enough ships to block out their sun. Kethvar closed his eyes. He had delivered his warning. The Council would not listen. They would send more ships to die in Earth's system. The humans had given him a message to deliver. Now, he had done his duty. What happened next would be the Council's choice. And their responsibility. Admiral Sarah Kim walked through the massive hangar bay beneath the Rocky Mountains. Hundreds of alien ships filled the space, like sleeping giants. Some were damaged from the battle 3 months ago. Others had been captured intact when their crews surrendered. Dr. Marcus Chen joined her as she stopped beside a sleek Zephyrian fighter. The scientist held a tablet showing technical readings from the alien craft. How many ships do we have now? Sarah asked. 4,712. Marcus replied. Our teams have been working around the clock to understand their technology. We have made incredible progress. Sarah nodded as she watched human technicians crawling over the alien vessels. They moved with purpose and excitement. The failed invasion had given Earth the greatest technological gift in human history. Show me what we have learned, she said. Marcus led her to a large display screen. Charts and diagrams filled the surface, showing the internal workings of Council technology. Their faster-than-light drives work by folding space, Marcus explained. We have successfully copied the design. Our first Earth-built FTL ship will be ready for testing next week. What about weapons? Their plasma cannons are incredibly powerful, but they have a weakness. The energy builds up in predictable patterns. We can detect when they are about to fire and position our ships accordingly. Sarah studied the diagrams carefully. During the battle, human pilots had learned to dodge alien weapons through pure instinct and luck. Now they had the science to make those maneuvers reliable. Their shields are more interesting, Marcus continued. They create a barrier of energy around the ship, but the barrier has gaps that rotate in cycles. If you time your attack correctly, you can hit them during the weak moments. How long are these cycles? Exactly 2.7 seconds for most ship classes. Their largest battleships have 4.1-second cycles. Sarah smiled grimly. The aliens had built their defenses around precise timing. Humans were very good at learning precise timing. They walked deeper into the facility. In another section, human pilots trained on alien flight simulators. The machines had been modified to work with human interfaces, but they still provided realistic experience flying Council spacecraft. Captain Lisa Park climbed out of a simulator pod as they approached. Sweat covered her face, but she looked excited. "How was the training session?" Sarah asked. "Amazing," Lisa replied. "These ships can do things our old fighters never could. The acceleration is incredible, and the weapons systems are so advanced. I feel like I went from riding a bicycle to flying a rocket ship. Can you train others to use them?" "Already working on it. We have pilot training programs running at 12 bases worldwide. Within 6 months, we will have thousands of qualified pilots for alien spacecraft." Sarah felt a surge of pride. 3 months ago, humans had never seen an alien ship. Now they were becoming experts at flying them. Marcus led them to the research laboratories. Scientists from every nation worked together, sharing discoveries and building on each other's work. The invasion had united Earth's scientific community like nothing ever before. "We have made breakthroughs in communication technology," Marcus said. "The Council uses quantum entanglement for instant messaging across vast distances. We are close to building our own quantum communication network." What does that mean for us?" "We can coordinate with forces anywhere in the solar system instantly. No delays, no interference. Perfect communication. Wind represented. Wind represented. Wind represented. Wind represented with forces. We can coordinate with forces anywhere." They entered a secure briefing room where intelligence analysts studied captured alien data. Maps of the galaxy covered the walls, showing the locations of Council worlds and military bases. Commander James Yoon looked up from his desk as they approached. His team had been working to understand the political structure of the galaxy. "What have you learned about our enemies?" Sarah asked. "The Galaxy Council controls over 10,000 worlds," James reported. "But their control depends on fear and superior technology. Many member species joined the Council because they had no choice." "Are there any potential allies?" "Definitely. We have identified at least 50 species that show signs of internal resistance movements. The Thurians have been fighting a secret war against the Council for decades. The Delphini people have maintained their independence through clever diplomacy, but they hate Council policies." Sarah studied the galactic maps. Earth sat at the edge of known space, far from the Council's center of power. That distance had protected humanity for thousands of years. Now, it might become their advantage. "We need to make contact with these resistance groups," she decided. "Already working on it," James replied. "We are building long-range scout ships using captured FTL technology. Our first diplomatic mission will launch in 2 weeks. Who will lead it?" "Captain Park has volunteered. She has shown exceptional skill with alien technology, and her personality is well suited for first contact situations." Sarah looked at Lisa, who nodded confidently. The young pilot had proven herself during the invasion. She had shot down 12 alien fighters and captured 2 ships intact. "Do it," Sarah ordered. "But be careful. We need information. Not another war." They moved to the weapons testing facility. Engineer Min Jun Lee demonstrated the latest human innovations. His team had combined alien energy weapons with human engineering principles. "We call it a hybrid plasma rifle," Min Jun explained as he fired the weapon at a target. The energy blast punched through 3 layers of alien armor plating. It uses Council technology but with human improvements to the firing mechanism. "How many can we produce?" "With our current manufacturing capacity, about 500 per day. But we are building new factories. Within a year, we could arm every human soldier with these weapons." Sarah felt a mixture of excitement and worry. Humanity was becoming a military power that could challenge the galaxy's ruling authority. But with that power came the certainty that the Council would return with a larger fleet. "How long do we have?" she asked Marcus. "Based on the political structure James described, I estimate 8 to 12 months, he replied. The Council will need time to build new ships and convince their member species to contribute forces. They will not underestimate us again. Then we use that time wisely. I want every human prepared for the next invasion. I want our allies contacted and supported. And I want the Council to know that attacking Earth was the biggest mistake they ever made. As they left the underground facility, Sarah looked up at the sky. Somewhere among those stars, alien leaders were planning humanity's destruction. But humans had surprised them once. They would do it again. Commander Zara 9 crouched in the dark tunnel beneath Mining Station 7. The air tasted of metal and despair, just like it had for the past 20 years of her life. But tonight felt different. Tonight, whispered words carried hope through the underground passages. Is it true? Asked Jek 2, his voice barely audible above the hum of the mining equipment above them. Did the humans really defeat a Council fleet? Zara 9 pulled out a small communication device. The screen glowed with intercepted transmissions from across the galaxy. She had risked everything to obtain this information. 9,700 ships, she whispered. Only 18 returned. The other Thurian workers gathered closer in the cramped tunnel. Their eyes reflected the device's light, like points of fire in the darkness. For generations, they had lived as slaves to the Council's mining operations. One world defeated that many ships? Jek 2 could not hide his amazement. The humans fought differently than anyone expected, Zara 9 explained. They adapted to Council technology. They used their creativity as a weapon. They proved that the Council can be beaten. An older Thurian named Vel 7 leaned forward. His body bore the scars of decades in the mines. What does this mean for us? Amy, what does? Zara 9 looked at the faces around her. These people had known only submission and fear. The concept of rebellion seemed as foreign to them as breathing underwater. It means we have a choice, she said carefully. For the first time in living memory, we have proof that resistance is possible. Halfway across the galaxy, elder melodic current floated in the deep trenches of Oceanus. The water around her carried vibrations of fear and uncertainty. Her people, the Delphini, had survived Council rule by avoiding conflict and providing valuable services. But news from Earth had spread even to the ocean depths. Young Delphini swam through the coral cities, sharing stories of human courage. For the first time, some questioned whether peaceful submission was the only path. The humans fought from their home world, Song of Depths observed. They protected what they loved, instead of surrendering it. Melodic Current's sonar painted a picture of the young Delphini's emotional state. Excitement mixed with fear. Hope battled with generations of caution. Fighting brings death, the elder reminded him. The Council has ruled the galaxy for 3,000 years. One battle does not change that. But it proves change is possible, Song of Depths replied. Maybe we do not have to fight the way the Council expects. Maybe we can fight like the humans did. On the crystal world of silicas, geometric beings discussed the Earth situation in harmonics that sounded like wind chimes. The crystalline collective had joined the Council centuries ago for protection against raiders. Now they wondered if that protection had become a prison. Facet Prime analyzed the battle data with mathematical precision. The human victory defied all logical models of galactic warfare. Their tactics showed creativity that the Council's rigid military doctrine could not match. The humans won through innovation, Facet Prime concluded. They did not follow established patterns. They created new ones. Sharp Edge, a younger crystal being, pulsed with curious energy. Could we learn from their methods? Perhaps, but innovation requires freedom to experiment. The Council does not permit such freedom. Meanwhile, in the grand towers of Nexus Prime, the Council's capital world, emergency sessions continued day and night. High Counselor Thex Prime paced before massive screens showing unrest reports from across the galaxy. 47 worlds show signs of increased resistance activity, reported Intelligence Director Cax-9. Our agents have intercepted communications, referencing the Earth incident. How serious are these threats? Thex Prime demanded. Most are still in the planning stages. But the Thurian mining operations report decreased productivity. Several Delphini cities have stopped responding to our communications. And the Crystalline Collective has delayed their quarterly resource shipments. Thex Prime slammed his fist against the console. The humans have infected the galaxy with their defiance. This cannot be allowed to spread. The humans Heaven 5. The humans Heaven 5. The humans Heaven 5. The humans Heaven 5. What are your orders? Cax-9 asked. Double the military presence on all Council worlds. Any species showing signs of rebellion will face immediate consequences. And begin preparations for the Second Earth Campaign. We need 50,000 ships. Back in the mining tunnels of Station 7, Zara 9 received a coded transmission from resistance cells on other worlds. The underground network that had taken decades to build was suddenly alive with activity. The Delphini are willing to provide communication support, she told her gathered workers. They can tap into Council data networks without being detected. What about weapons? Asked Jek2. We cannot fight battleships with mining tools. The humans showed us that weapons are not everything, Zara 9 replied. They won through intelligence and adaptability. We can learn to do the same. She activated a new program on her device. Technical diagrams appeared, showing Council ship designs and their weaknesses. The information had been leaked by sympathetic members within the Council's own military. Some Council officers are secretly supporting resistance movements, she explained. They are tired of serving a government that rules through fear. Vel 7 studied the ship diagrams with growing excitement. These show the locations of critical systems. If we could sabotage ships during maintenance. Exactly. We do not need to win battles in space. We can win them in the shipyards and repair facilities. On Oceanus, Song of Depths swam toward the surface for the first time in months. The upper waters carried signals from across the galaxy. Resistance groups were making contact with each other, sharing information and resources. He intercepted a transmission from the human world called Earth. The signal was weak but clear enough to understand. The humans were reaching out to potential allies, offering support and friendship instead of conquest. They want to help us, he realized. The humans are not seeking to replace the Council with another empire. They want to create something new. The young Delphini dove back to the deep cities, carrying this incredible news. For the first time in generations, the galaxy might know true freedom. In the crystal caverns of Silicas, Facet Prime made a decision that would have seemed impossible weeks earlier. The Crystalline Collective would begin secretly manufacturing weapons and equipment for the growing resistance movement. We have the industrial capacity, Sharp Edge observed, and our crystal technology is unknown to most Council species. We can create tools they cannot detect or counter. The risk is enormous, Facet Prime warned. If the Council discovers our involvement, the humans took a greater risk, Sharp Edge replied. They faced certain destruction and chose to fight anyway. We can do no less. Across the galaxy, the news from Earth continued to spread. In slave camps and factory worlds, oppressed species whispered about the small blue planet that had defied the mighty Council. The whispers became songs. The songs became plans. The Council had ruled through the fear that resistance was impossible. The humans had proven that fear was a lie. Now the galaxy was waking up. Captain Lisa Park stared at the view screen of her ship as they approached the hidden asteroid base. 6 months of traveling through hostile space had led to this moment. The first diplomatic meeting between humans and galactic resistance fighters. The base looked like a natural asteroid from the outside, but Lisa's sensors detected artificial structures hidden within the rock. Whoever had built this place understood the importance of staying invisible from Council patrols. Incoming transmission, reported her communications officer, Lieutenant Chen Wei. Put it through. A voice spoke in accented but clear English. Human vessel. You are cleared to dock at Bay 7. Please follow our guidance signals exactly. Any deviation will be considered hostile. Lisa smiled nervously. The Resistance fighters had learned to be careful. Too many of their bases had been discovered and destroyed by Council forces. Her ship, the Times Determination Asterisk, slipped through a hidden opening in the asteroid's surface. The docking bay beyond looked crude compared to human or Council technology, but it was cleverly designed to hide large numbers of ships. Stay alert, but keep weapons powered down, Lisa ordered her small crew. We're here to make friends, not enemies. They docked without incident. Lisa put on her environmental suit and walked to the airlock. Her heart pounded as she waited for it to cycle. Everything humanity had learned about potential allies came from intercepted transmissions and Council intelligence files. She had no idea what to expect from face-to-face contact. The airlock opened to reveal 3 figures waiting for her. The center figure was clearly the leader, tall and lean with gray skin marked by old scars. The other 2 looked like different species entirely. I am Commander Zara 9 of the Thurian Resistance, the leader said. Welcome to Base Freedom. Lisa removed her helmet and extended her hand in the human gesture of greeting. Zara 9 looked at it curiously, before extending her own hand. The contact felt electric first, the first handshake between humans and galactic rebels. Captain Lisa Park of Earth Defense Force, Lisa replied. Thank you for agreeing to this meeting. Zara 9 led them through corridors carved from solid rock. The base bustled with activity as different species worked together on various projects. Lisa saw creatures she could not even have imagined. Some humanoid, others completely alien in form. How many species are represented here? Lisa asked. 17 in this base alone. Zara 9 replied. The Resistance includes over 40 species across the galaxy. Your victory at Earth inspired many groups to work together for the first time. They entered a large meeting chamber where representatives from multiple species waited around a curved table. Lisa recognized some from Earth's intelligence files, but others were completely unknown. A creature that looked like a walking tree spoke first. I am Root Singer of the Sylvan Collective. We have observed your species with great interest. And I am Flow Current of the Delphini people, added a being in an environmental suit filled with water. Our elders send greetings from the deep cities. Lisa took her seat at the table. The weight of responsibility pressed on her shoulders. The decisions made in this room could determine the fate of the galaxy. Earth appreciates your courage in fighting Council oppression, she began. We hope to build an alliance that benefits all free peoples. A crystal being that reflected light in beautiful patterns spoke next. I am Facet Prime of the Crystalline Collective. We offer industrial support for your cause. Our manufacturing capabilities could supply weapons and ships for the Resistance. What do you need from us in return? Lisa asked. Zara 9 leaned forward. Knowledge. The humans defeated a Council fleet through tactics and technology we do not understand. Share your methods with us. Lisa activated a portable hologram projector. Technical diagrams filled the air above the table, showing human modifications to captured Council technology. Our engineers discovered that Council systems are designed for efficiency, not adaptability, she explained. They follow predictable patterns. Once you understand the patterns, you can find ways to break them. The assembled representatives studied the diagrams with intense interest. Root Singer's leaves rustled with excitement. Your approach is similar to how plants adapt to changing environments. You do not fight the system directly. You grow around it. Exactly, Lisa agreed. Council technology is powerful but rigid. Human technology is weaker but flexible. When we combine them, we get something new and unexpected. Flow Current's aquatic suit bubbled as she spoke. The Delphini have access to Council communication networks. We can provide early warning of fleet movements and coordinate attacks across multiple systems. The Sylvan Collective controls agricultural worlds, added Root Singer. We can disrupt food supplies to Council military bases. Well, Facet Prime's crystal form pulsed with different colors. Our people excel at encryption and data analysis. We can create communication systems that the Council cannot break. Lisa felt excitement building in her chest. These resistance fighters brought capabilities that humans lacked. Together, they could challenge Council authority across the entire galaxy. We have something else to offer, Zara 9 said quietly. Council military officers who secretly support the resistance. They are willing to provide intelligence and sabotage operations from within. How many? Lisa asked. Thousands. The Council rules through fear, but many of their own people are tired of being enforcers for tyranny. Lisa activated her quantum communicator to contact Earth. The device used technology stolen from captured Council ships, modified with human engineering principles. Admiral Kim, this is Captain Park. The alliance is possible. Recommend immediate full diplomatic mission. Sarah's voice came through clearly despite the vast distance. Understood, Captain. Dr. Chen is preparing technology packages for our new allies. What do you need from us? Lisa looked around the table at the expectant faces of a dozen species. Everything we can spare, Admiral. And more than we probably should. You'll have it. Earth stands with the free peoples of the galaxy. Over the following days, Lisa worked with resistance leaders to plan coordinated operations against Council targets. The alliance grew stronger, as each species contributed unique capabilities. The Thurians provided expertise in sabotage and guerrilla warfare. The Delphini offered intelligence gathering through their communication networks. The Crystalline Collective began mass-producing hybrid weapons based on human designs. Most importantly, they established a quantum communication network that connected resistance cells across the galaxy. For the first time, oppressed species could coordinate their actions in real time. The Council has maintained power by keeping us divided, Zara 9 observed during one planning session. They convinced each species that resistance was impossible, because we were alone. Now they will learn what happens when the galaxy unites against them. Lisa nodded as she watched the tactical displays showing resistance operations across dozens of star systems. Council supply lines were being cut. Military bases faced coordinated attacks. Communication arrays went offline one by one. How long before the Council notices the pattern? She asked. They already have, Flow Current replied. Our sources within their intelligence services report emergency sessions on Nexus Prime. They are accelerating their plans for the second Earth assault. How many ships? 50,000, minimum. 5 times larger than the first invasion fleet. Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. Earth had barely survived the first attack. Could they withstand something 5 times larger? We will not let them reach Earth unopposed, Zara 9 declared. The resistance will strike their assembly points and supply bases. We will make them fight for every system between here and your world. The other representatives voiced their agreement. Species that had never worked together before were now planning joint military operations. Lisa realized that something remarkable was happening. The Council's attack on Earth had created exactly what they feared most: a united galaxy willing to fight for freedom. The war was no longer about protecting one world. It had become a revolution. Admiral Sarah Kim stood on the bridge of the Times Terra's Defiance Asterisk, Earth's first battleship, built with alien technology. Through the viewports, she could see the greatest fleet in human history spread across space around Earth. But she knew it would not be enough. 50,000 Council ships approached the solar system. The largest armada ever assembled in galactic history, carrying enough firepower to crack planets. Earth's defenders numbered only 8,000 vessels, a mixture of human-built ships, captured Council craft, and allied resistance fighters. Incoming transmission from the Thurian fleet, reported Communications Officer Park Min-soo. Put Zara 9 through. The alien commander's scarred face appeared on the main screen. Behind her, Lisa could see the bridge of a converted mining ship that had been turned into a warship. Admiral Kim, our forces are in position at the outer system defense line, Zara 9 reported. The Crystalline Collective has finished deploying their mobile weapons platforms. The Delphini communication network is fully operational. Sarah nodded grimly. The Alliance had grown stronger over the past year, but they were still vastly outnumbered. How long until the Council fleet arrives? 18 hours. Our scouts report they are moving in standard formation. Battleships in the center, fighters on the flanks, support vessels in the rear. They are expecting to fight humans, observed Captain Lisa Park from her position at the tactical station. They have not adapted their tactics to face a multi-species alliance. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. The Council's arrogance might be their weakness. They had ruled the galaxy for so long that they could not imagine losing to what they saw as primitive rebels. All ships, this is Admiral Kim, she announced over the fleet communication network. Today we fight not just for Earth, but for the freedom of every species in the galaxy. Show them what happens when free peoples unite. 18 hours later, the Council fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the solar system. Sarah watched the tactical display as thousands of enemy ships appeared, like angry red dots on her screens. My God, whispered Dr. Marcus Chen from the science station. I have never seen so many ships in one place. Target identification confirms Council fleet composition, reported Lieutenant Commander James Yoon. We count 47,000 combat vessels, plus 3,000 support ships. Sarah studied the enemy formation. The Council ships moved in perfect geometric patterns, just as their intelligence had predicted. Beautiful, precise, and completely predictable. Resistance forces, execute Operation Hydra, she commanded. The Allied fleet scattered in all directions. Thurian ships dove toward the asteroid belt, where they could use the rocks for cover. Delphini vessels headed for the outer planets, where they could hide in the radiation shadows. Human ships spread throughout the inner system. To the Council commanders, it must have looked like panic. Sarah hoped they would think exactly that. Council flagship is transmitting, Parkman Sue announced. Let us hear what they have to say. A deep voice filled the bridge, speaking in the Council's common language. The translation appeared on Sarah's display. Primitive humans, you will surrender immediately or face complete annihilation. Your pathetic resistance has already failed. Prepare for your destruction. Sarah activated the response channel. This is Admiral Sarah Kim of the Free Worlds Alliance. We reject your demands. If you want Earth, come and take it. The Council fleet began its advance. Sarah watched them move in their perfect formations, following patterns that had conquered 1,000 worlds. They had learned nothing from their previous defeat. All units, implement Adaptive Defense Protocol 7, Sarah ordered. The human ships began moving in random patterns, never staying in one place long enough for the enemy to target them effectively. It looked chaotic, but every movement had been carefully planned. The first wave of Council ships entered weapons range and opened fire. Energy beams lit up space like deadly fireworks. But the human ships were no longer where the targeting computers expected them to be. Return fire, Sarah commanded. Target their command ships. The Earth fleet struck back with modified Council weapons. Plasma cannons fired in unexpected patterns. Missile salvos came from directions the enemy had not anticipated. Within minutes, a dozen Council ships were burning in space. Enemy second wave advancing, Yoon reported. They are adapting their formation to compensate for our tactics. Expected. Phase 2. All units. The Allied resistance fighters emerged from hiding like hunters springing a trap. Thurian ships attacked from the asteroid belt. Delphini vessels struck from behind the gas giants. Crystalline collective platforms opened fire from positions throughout the system. The Council fleet found itself under attack from every direction simultaneously. Their perfect formations became a liability as ships collided while trying to respond to multiple threats. Council command ship is trying to coordinate a counterattack. Flow current reported from her aquatic command vessel. I am jamming their communications with false orders. Crystalline fleet reports successful penetration of enemy support lines, added Facet Prime. We have captured 12 supply vessels, intact. Sarah watched the tactical display with growing amazement. The battle plan was working better than she had dared hope. The Council's overwhelming numbers meant nothing when they could not coordinate their attacks. Admiral, Lisa called from the tactical station. The Council flagship is breaking formation. It looks like they are attempting a direct assault on Earth. Sarah studied the enemy movements. A group of the largest battleships was pushing through the chaos toward Earth itself. If they reached the planet, their weapons could kill billions. All Earth defense ships, intercept the flagship group. Maximum speed. The Times Terra's Defiance Times led the charge toward the advancing Council battleships. The human ships were smaller and faster, but the enemy vessels packed enormous firepower. Energy blasts filled space around them as the two fleets closed distance. Sarah's ship shook under the impact of near misses. Target the flagship's bridge section, she ordered. If we can capture their commander, we can end this battle. The human ships swarmed around the massive Council battleship like angry insects. Their weapons, designed with human creativity and alien technology, punched through shields that should have been impenetrable. Breaching pods away, reported the weapons officer. Boarding teams are en route to the enemy flagship. Sarah watched through the ship's external cameras as small human assault craft attached to the Council battleship's hull. She knew that Lisa Park was leading one of those teams, using the boarding tactics that had proven so effective in the first invasion. Admiral, we have control of the enemy bridge. Lisa's voice crackled through the communication system 20 minutes later. Council, Admiral, Dominion Prime, is our prisoner. Sarah felt a surge of triumph. They had done something no one in galactic history had ever accomplished. Captured a high-ranking Council leader alive. Attention Council fleet, she broadcast on all frequencies. Your Admiral is our prisoner. Your command structure has collapsed. Surrender now, and we will treat you with honor. The response was immediate. Across the solar system, Council ships began powering down their weapons. Some tried to flee, but found their escape routes blocked by Allied forces. Others surrendered in place. Within 6 hours, the second invasion of Earth was over. The Free Worlds Alliance had not just survived, they had won a complete victory. Standing on the bridge of the captured Council flagship, Sarah looked out at the defeated enemy fleet. Thousands of alien warships floated dead in space. Their crews either captured or fled. What happens now? Zara 9 asked, as she joined Sarah on the bridge. Now we change the galaxy, Sarah replied. The Council's reign of fear is over. Every species will have the chance to choose their own destiny. Lisa activated the ship's communication array, broadcasting to every world in Council space. People of the galaxy, this is the Free Worlds Alliance. Earth and our allies have defeated the Council fleet. Freedom is no longer just a dream. It is a reality. We can build together. Across the galaxy, on mining worlds and factory planets, in slave camps and prison colonies, oppressed species heard the message and began to hope. The human victory had proven that tyrants could be defeated. The age of the Council was ending. The age of freedom had begun. Sarah looked up at the stars, no longer seeing them as distant lights but as homes for billions of beings who would soon taste liberty for the first time. Humanity had found its place in the galaxy, not as conquerors, but as liberators. The revolution had succeeded. Now came the harder task of building something better.